Today is World Mental Health Day, and mental health is something that can affect us all. In fact, this year's theme is mental health is a universal human right. Whether you are a football player or whether you're someone who watches in the stands, you have the right to not feel okay. Now, we have come today to talk to Morgan Whittaker and his partner Rachel. Now, Morgan is a club record signing. He joined Argyle in the summer, of course, and has already hit the ground running on the pitch. But it isn't always rosy for footballers, as we're about to find out. Morgan, Rachel, where are we? Tell us where we are.
Well, one of our favourite places to walk, Howden Country Park, that's what it's called. It's just nice for the dogs, like they can go off lead. Don't have to worry too much about them, and there's a lot of other dogs they can interact with, so it's just nice for us as well. And if we're lucky, we get to go to the cafe if it's still open and get some chili chips.
What time does that shut?
5.
Well,
no, it's 5, isn't it?
Yeah, but they stopped serving.
Oh, they stopped serving at 4, but it closes at 5.
We're done for. We're absolutely done for. And just talk us through the dog. I know you've spoken to us before, Morgan, about the dogs, but we've got 3 of them, varying sizes.
Yeah, the biggest one's Kobe, he's the oldest, he's 3. Then the golden retriever's Winnie, she's 2, and then the little one's Luna, and she's only 3.5 months.
She is loving it though.
Yeah, she's got a lot more confidence. It's nicer having these 2 with her, because she defo comes out of her shell a lot more. So from here, he can be quite grumpy with her if she jumps up in his face.
Talk to me about this walk then. You say it's one of your favourite places to come. So why, other than it's a good place to walk the dogs, just what is it about getting outside and doing something like this?
I think it's just like clears your mind, and you talk about a lot of stuff on walks, so, and obviously when the weather's like this and the views are here, it's just nice to get out and just take yourself away from everything.
Oh yeah.
And just we do come here. I say the most is we come here is for our walks, like I said, it's just nice for us and the dogs to get out.
Post-match ever?
Oh no, not a post-match. I'm normally eating all my snack and I treat myself after a game.
Talk to us, and this is both of you, I suppose, about pressures in football then, Morgan. So, you know, people always, you know, they look at you, well paid, doing the thing you love. It's the dream job, right?
Yeah.
And I'm guessing it is.
Yeah.
But what is it? You know, what is it like in the inner bubble of a footballer?
Yeah, don't get me wrong. It is like amazing, and feel very, very lucky to do it. But I think even recently, after the game Tuesday, I came home and I was very stressed about. Obviously, we did play well, but obviously lost. So in my head, I'm thinking I didn't personally score. We didn't win. And there's a lot of pressure going into Saturday. It's like a must-win, obviously against Swansea, an old team. So it's a lot, and I feel like it takes me a lot. Yeah, it's very hard for me to take my mind off it. I feel like you're happy for a bit, and then it'll pop back into head, and you just feel a bit like, oh, that's coming. And then I think something that's helped us from previous seasons is just like taking it day by day and just sitting back and thinking like, only 2 games ago I scored a hat-trick, so I don't need to be. I'm very like that. I could score a hat-trick, and then the next game if I didn't score, I'd be like, oh, it's the end of the world and that. So it is a constant cycle. Yeah. Yeah, so it's just finding ways like, of trying to take your mind off it. So coming here is one, because you just don't talk about football, out with the dogs, and just distract yourself. Yeah,
okay, Rachel. So you've said there he beats himself up about it a bit. What? So just say after a normal game, what is Morgan like? What does he do?
Well, he scores a hat trick, he's great. But he kind of just goes into his shell a little bit. Like you'll just see him kind of zoned out a little bit. A bit like.
Yeah, I think it just comes from like past experiences.
Yeah, he's had like a bit of bad experience in the past at different clubs where, you know.
Get out of the way of the bike as it comes through.
Sorry.
All right.
Easy. Yeah, just like different experiences from previous places, and I always think the worst in situations, like if I don't score and I don't play amazing, I feel like, oh, the next game I'll be dropped and it's the end of the world. So it's still, and obviously I'm at a place where Yeah.
Just get in again.
Yeah, she's out the way, it's fine. Yeah, so past experience, I feel like if I've not scored or I've not played amazing, then it's the end of the world, and the next game I'll either get dropped or I feel like I should have done better. But I realise, obviously, being here, I suppose, is just like I don't have to score or assist every game. My presence and what I bring to the team is people have noticed, and it helps the lads around me, and that's a big thing for me, is coming home and it's not the end of the world if I've not scored or assisted. But then obviously I have to be happy when that does happen and not think, oh right, I'm ready for the next game now to keep it up.
Have you ever had any sort of, I don't know, guidance on just if when you have not scored, for example, and you've come back and you think the world is ending and you're going to be dropped and you're never going to play, is it just something that you have worked out yourself, or with the help of Rachel or family, or do the lads talk about it?
Yeah, I think it's one of them in football, like you're not really, it's getting a lot better, but I think it's hard for you to show your true emotions in football. I think it's something that we've had to sort of figure out ourselves, ways to deal with not scoring or not assisting, or if it doesn't go like Tuesday, it doesn't go the way we wanted to after we did play well. So it's just had to come from us two really, and just find little ways, which has helped. Like I've recently started writing in a journal, which I think's helped, just getting everything on a page.
There's a lot of like stuff in Morgan's head that just keeps spinning. It's just 100 miles an hour.
Yeah.
So we thought if you can just write it down and just accept it, and you've written it down and move on.
So I sort of get into a state where I'm like, I didn't score Saturday, or we didn't get the result Saturday. I'm waiting for the next game to come, and I sort of bypass the days up to the game.
Did it on purpose.
I've never done that before.
But for you then, Rachel, as well, when you're watching, are you thinking about maybe just say, I don't know, Morgan hasn't scored, or something like that? Are you thinking how he's going to be feeling, or are you so?
No, I know exactly what's going on in his head, and I think I've known him so long that even when he's on the pitch and he's not scored or he's not done something that he should, I know he's beating himself up about it, and I know that when he gets home he's going to be quite grumpy about it, a bit sulky.
Yeah, it's just, it just comes from a place just me wanting to be the best.
I know
kind of thing.
Hi.
How happy it makes you when you do that. So when he doesn't feel like he does it, it's like a bit of a letdown for him, and he beats himself up. And it's sad to see, because he did so well in some games, and he looks back and thinks, I didn't do this and I didn't do this, and I'm like, but you did contribute so much to it.
Yeah.
And I know that you do so well, but you don't see it sometimes.
Yeah, I know. It is true.
But does it help being able to come back and just talk to Rachel about anything other than football?
I think that's help for both of us, isn't it? I think like how I see something, you will always see it different. I think that's the biggest thing for us, is like my problem will look different to
like I give a different
your perspective. Yeah. So you'll be like,
oh, tunnel vision on one thing, but when he speaks to me about it, I can give him another view, which doesn't make it feel as bad. Whereas if you get a different perspective, it doesn't feel as bad as whatever it is you're thinking. That was the same with me though, wasn't it? If I had something, you could give me a different vision, and it wouldn't feel as bad as it did when it was just me. Yeah,
we've been really lucky with having people that understand. Like, I think that's one thing that could be better with within football, is having someone a safe space to be able to talk about this. 'Cause I feel like a lot of lads go through it, like if they don't
it's an
do
emotional
well.
game, isn't it?
Yeah.
Highs and lows, as
That's
you
what I mean. I
already
think
said.
a lot of the girlfriends do take a lot on from, because I don't think there is enough mental health support for people in football, because I take a lot of it, don't I?
Yeah, but it's like I was talking to you about superstitions, that links in with the mental health side of it, because it's a thing that you think you can control. Like say if I put my sock on the right way, it means I'm going to have a good game, or I'm going to score again. It's a way of you thinking I can control that, which will help me do well. in football. When you think about it, it's like you just putting a sock on, but it's these little things that help you, and it's just what everyone does.
I want to take you back to the dogs have found a friend.
Yeah. Chaos.
I want to take you back to January last year.
Oh,
Well, that's carnage.
Yeah. Cobes, it's alright, they're both the same. This way, Cobes, come on. Cobes, this way. This way. Cobes, this way, good boy.
did you get scared?
Making like he listens to me all the time.
just putting it in his place as well.
Yeah, he does that.
Yeah, I want to take you both back to January last year, and obviously a big change for you was being recalled from the loan spell at Argyle, going back to Swansea. You were absolutely flying. I think you scored in your last game, didn't you?
Yeah, I scored and got 2 assists.
There you go.
It was weird because
What was that like then?
it's about, like, I had a feeling that it was going to happen because I scored and assisted, and my agents are normally like, "Oh, well done, Morgs, brilliant," and that, and they didn't say anything.
Didn't hear a thing.
Didn't hear anything off them, and we was a bit like,
That's strange.
"That's not good." And I think it was already been talked about on Twitter or something like that, though, where people were speculating, see if it would happen.
There was a lot of assumption that you were good, like you were staying at Plymouth, so we were like, "That's fantastic."
Yeah.
Like we haven't heard anything.
And it was because we actually went back to Swansea because we had Sunday, Monday off after the game. So we actually went back to Swansea to see our friends who were at Swansea at the time. And then we were on the beach with them saying, "Oh, what happens if we get recalled?" Or I don't know how we'll deal with it, because it's like so many things I could be missing out on, and I'm not guaranteed to be playing at Swansea. And obviously I don't know who's bringing me back or what's happening. And then it was later on that day when the agents called and said, like, "We've been on the phone all day to certain people and that, and you're going to be recalled." And we was just like, no, like, we were flying at the time. It's the first time I've had I'm close to being on double figures for goals, something that was my target, and I was happy. It was at the top of League One. It's a chance for me to have a go at being in a promotion winning side. And then the Shuey, our gaffer here, he said to me that they're releasing a statement at 6 o'clock to saying you've been recalled, and then that was it. And then a few days later I was back in Swansea, and
We
like
packed
nothing
it
had
the
happened.
same
Yeah.
day, and we went back the next day, so we literally packed up all that stuff from the house where we live now, and we were gone the next day in such like a short amount of time.
And it's just as well because I wasn't sure if I was being recorded, so I didn't get to say bye properly to anyone at Plymouth, and then I was sort of straight back in it with Swansea, and then all the things about me going to Rangers and Ipswich are interested as well, so it was just a lot to process.
Where's
Here she comes. I think, you know, what you've just described there is something that footballers go through anyway, don't they? You know,
Yeah.
there's always a bit of uncertainty, especially transfer windows. If you're doing well, a club might want you. If you're not doing well, a club might want to get rid of you. But did this one feel more different to any of the others?
I think it's
This
just
one hurt.
I think it's because it was not a mess, but I don't think there was clear communication. Like, one end was saying it was someone else bringing me back, the other end was saying no, we want him to stay, and I wasn't getting any support. Well, we wasn't getting any support, saying like, "Oh, simply, are you okay? Like, I know this is a lot, you're doing well," and then coming back. I even had chats with the Swansea owner as well, and it's just a lot to take on in your head. And then I don't obviously play that much. I only start 2 games, and obviously it's hard to see Plymouth. I'm so glad that they went up, but still seeing them, all of them, the lads together and playing and that. But I think one thing we took from this whole thing is if we got Winnie, our dog, from coming back to Swansea, and maybe if I'd stayed the whole season, I wouldn't be back now. So if someone had said you'll be recalled, but you'll be back in the summer, record signing and number 10, a big thing for us, and we would have snapped their arm off at that. So it's funny how things work out, but at the time it was really hard to take.
What, and Rachel, again for you, and you recently come out on social media as well, and just put a thing up about how you've had struggles and you had an unbelievable amount of support, which must have been so good.
Yeah.
But you know, people always do forget about family and partners of footballers.
Yeah.
So talk to me about what that moment was like too.
So, what, the actual post? or
Well,
what
just kind of the last few months, I suppose.
So last year I was obviously diagnosed with clinical depression. It wasn't something that, it kind of didn't come as a shock to me. Like, we kind of, well, I definitely there was something not right. But I didn't feel like I had the right to be depressed, if you know what I mean. Like, because obviously I'm in a very fortunate position, like, and I've got an amazing family, and I didn't feel like I had the right.
Wait, Coach, wait.
Like, oh, I'm a bit sad,
Good boy.
or, you know. So I kind of kept it to myself, and then it obviously gradually got worse and worse to the point where, like, sadly, I just didn't feel like I could be here anymore. Do you know what I mean? It was very, it was just a tough time, wasn't it? Like,
Yeah.
What I mean, have you been able to pinpoint it to a specific moment, or is it just
it
It was when we moved. I went to Lincoln on loan.
right?
we moved 3 times. Last year.
Yeah, I think a lot of moving and.
There was a lot of, like, taking on Morgan's problems as well. Like, you weren't happy.
Yeah.
It was just a lot. There was
Yeah.
a lot going on last year, and I think it just took a toll on me. It kind of just hit me.
Yeah. And I think that comes as well, like you said, it comes down to you thinking you shouldn't feel like
I
this.
didn't feel like I had a right to feel like I could have depression, because, like I said, I've got an amazing life. Like, I'm very fortunate to be in the position that I'm in. So I never said anything, and instead of saying something and telling someone, it just got worse. So, like, the main thing I can say is, like, just tell someone, because if you're feeling low or feeling down, the best thing you can do is just speak about it.
Yeah. Right.
Everyone's back now.
We've got the squad back together. Just picking up on what Rach was saying there, Morgan. How, you know, what was it like for you seeing her like that at that stage, and obviously you having problems too?
Yeah, it was
having
really
thoughts
difficult.
too?
I think even like a simple car ride to, I don't know, like the shops or something, if we hit traffic or something, that was like quite a big deal on it, and it was hard for you to get out the house. And you came to a couple of games, and like at half time it was a bit too much, so you'd go home, and then I'd be at the end of the game and then not know what's happening. So it's a bit, obviously, like, people don't see that side of how hard it can be sometimes.
Like, it didn't have just an effect on me, it affected Morgan, like, it affected my parents and stuff. Like, it doesn't just affect the person itself, it affects everybody around you, and that, I think, makes it so much more difficult.
But yeah, well, the best thing you did was admit to yourself that you need to go and see someone, and luckily, like, your mum and dad, my mum and dad were really supportive of you and didn't look at you like you were stupid.
Because, like I said, I didn't think I had the right, because, you know, the life we have and stuff.
Yeah.
So I just kept it quiet, and then, like I said, it just got worse and worse.
Yeah. So to bring it kind of full circle back round, obviously the summer, you've mentioned it already, Morgan, but record signing back to Plymouth, back to Argyle. You've just smiled there, Rach. Obviously, that you must be in a tremendous place at the moment.
Yeah, it was. Even before it happened, like, while I was at Swansea still this pre-season, like, every day it was like, if something happened, I know we'd find that we're speaking to someone in a couple of days, and then it was like, oh, it's not going to happen, or like, we were sort of like, it's such a big decision in our life and my career, but we sort of had no control in it, so it was like relying on other people.
The path for our life, and it was like, this could either make or break everything.
I went to go and see Michael Duff at Swansea, and was like, it's just taking a lot out of me, and it's just like, I don't really know, like, why is nothing happening, basically. And then the day after, the chief, I don't know if he was a chief exec, something like that, Paul Watson came to find me, and then I went up and he was with Michael Duff, and they said it's all done. And I just went straight away and phoned you in the boot room and was like, it's done.
I was so relieved. Like, for him, because I thought he's wanted this for so long, and we genuinely thought it wasn't going to happen, didn't we?
Yeah.
We kind of accepted it wasn't going to happen.
I think it's just like I knew the opportunity I'd get from being here, like getting obviously number 10, being like a main player, getting a full go at the championship, everything that I wanted. So I think obviously with the manager and the fans that already like love me and the manager that trusts me, I think that's half the battle.
So obviously, yeah, Plymouth, the move happened. You've already just said there. It's like what you wanted.
Yeah.
Main player, number 10, championship.
Yeah.
Back at a place you know you've done well. And then what about first game in the league, scoring after 3 minutes?
I know. Yeah. I think that's like before the game. Because obviously I scored. I think it was 4-4 in the pre-season game. So I'm thinking, oh, I've got to make it 5-5 when it matters in the proper games. And then I got the early goal, and then I think the confidence just shows, and I got an assist as well. And I think first game you got your first goal and first assist, so that's a big thing on a new season, is getting both of them first. Then obviously I went through a patch of like 6-7 games where I hadn't scored, and I'm thinking, I feel like I'm never going to score. And then Norwich comes and they score 3, so I think that's stuff like this helps me as well, because I'm like, one game can change how I'm feeling, and no one would have thought Norwich would happen. So anything can happen with games. So I just think to myself, like, remember the feeling, like I'm going to score again at some point. So just when it happens, just remember how good it feels. So it's going to come, because the more pressure you put on yourself, the more you're thinking you're not going to score, the more likely it's not going to happen. But obviously now I'm back in that cycle, so I'm not scoring the last 2 games.
No. Next one coming up, we'll score. Just to finish on, because I think we've missed cheesy chips, so we don't have to rush back for any of that. It is, of course, Mental Health Day and week coming up next week, or coming up. You've both spoken about your sort of challenges that you've had so far in, a relatively short or early stages of life, but you've also both spoken about how you've overcome them. And is that talking about it or writing things down in a journal?
I think
there'd be bits of advice.
Yeah, we've been very, very fortunate with having the support group around us, and it's easy to say I just talk to someone, but people aren't lucky enough to have people that understand and realise what they're going through.
Network that luckily we did have.
So yeah, like I said, maybe if you haven't got that, maybe like trying to put a journal where you just put in your thoughts on a page, and at least you're getting them out. You might not be getting them out to someone, but you're getting it out to something, and you're getting them out on a piece of paper. And I think the biggest thing for Rachel not talking was she felt stupid because of her situation. I think it's a lot of what's in your head makes you not want to talk because of what other people will think. So I think once you can overcome that and accept yourself that, I might need help, that's the best thing. It was the best thing for you was realising, you might need to talk to someone. I'm not stupid for feeling like this. I think a lot of people these days, I can imagine most of the lads in the changing room feel like this, but they just probably don't have a way to talk about it, because it's not seen as a manly thing to do, is talk about, I'm struggling going into this game, or I feel like I might not score, or even if it's little things like that, it's just getting them out to people is massive.
Well, I think we've just about got the squad together for the final stretch, but thank you so much for letting us join your dog walk.
No, anytime.
It's a pleasure to
Get cheesy chips next time.
Gonna be here earlier.